welcome back to my channel. My name is Larissa, and this time on the show we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con, and this is the second year I've been posting on my YouTube channel. Last year I was dressed as PD for the video. This time it's so hot, even wearing clothes is difficult because it's hot. So I am just dressed as me today, and yes, this is the style I kind of wear all the time. And last year I had Wonder Woman fabric behind me, and now I have Star Wars because you need something nerdy back there. Plus the Star Wars booth is one of my favorites this year at Comic-Con. So let's get started. So I want to mention that this video is going to be a lot shorter than last year. Last year was such a whirlwind of adventure, and this year not a lot happened, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. As you watch the video you'll find out, but I still had lots of fun, and I'll go through all the days of adventure with you. So yeah, let's get started. So preview night, which is technically day 0, I guess day 1, which is on Wednesday. And last year it was one of those things where it really was just a whole nother day of Comic-Con. So much to do, collecting stuff, one-of-a-kind items to pick up and whatnot. And this year it might have been just me, and this is all from my perspective of going to Comic-Con every year. But this time not a lot to do. We did arrive pretty late, my husband and I. We usually take a trolley from our house because parking downtown is like a nightmare, so you might as well just not do that. So we took a trolley and supported our local tram system to get down there, and that's what most people do anyways. But when we got down there, we got there kind of late because the trolley took forever, and yeah, took forever really. But also something new this year, I mentioned this in my WonderCon video, that they had tried implementing these keycard pass holders. So aside from your badge you get this big magnetic strip on the back side of it that pretty much you have to tap the door to go in or out of the convention center. At WonderCon I believe it was way more intense to get to and fro out of the doors and whatnot. So the whole experience of picking up your badge was very different this year. You get your badge in the mail, which is very, very different. You do have to stand in line, which was a very, very quick streamline to pick up your lanyard and your swag bag, which is the collector bag you get from Comic-Con every year. This year the bags were designed a little differently. They were big and jumbos. You can stick your posters in it, but they had a fold over kind of pouch thing. I didn't like it because you really couldn't see the art of each different show or series or game they were trying to promote on it. It just was kind of eh. And the art this time wasn't that cool. Honestly, I didn't find any bags that was like, will you trade with me? That didn't happen that much. So preview night I was dressed as Usagi Tsukino, which is Sailor Moon in her school uniform outfit. And that costume's really comfy to wear. But of course the wig's very heavy, so I wore that costume. But again, it was a very short night. Also this year, our friend Rachel from Mixtakes Comics had some extra space on her table, so she sold some of my husband's stuff at her table this year, and my husband sat at the table and also sold stuff. So on preview night, he had to go set up and whatnot, and yeah, so I kind of waited for him, but I didn't really have a lot of friends that had a preview night badge, so that was kind of a flop for me. And yeah, so that was not so cool. Thursday, day 1. So one of the first things that we noticed going into Comic-Con, they had this really cool Stranger Things poster out on the streets of Will from the show, and it was kind of like, what is this? Why is this here? Are they just promoting the show? Because the show was really cool, so we watched all the seasons or the episodes before Comic-Con came out, but we really wanted to know what it was. Sure enough, my husband found out they were having a scavenger hunt. It was like an unofficial thing, and this guy on Twitter made like a scavenger hunt every day for fans to find this cool swag bag and kind of hunt around Comic-Con with clues to find this cool goodie for any fan that really hunted it down. And we tried a couple times but failed, sadly. So that was kind of, I think that was on Saturday when we did that. When we really almost got the scavenger hunt, but it didn't happen. Also on Thursday, a lot of my family members and friends couldn't get a badge. My husband was also working the morning of that day, so I was alone a lot, especially on Thursday. I was Usagi Tsukino again, and I adventured by myself, but there wasn't a lot of swag stuff. Like normally, like in the last video Comic-Con, I would be like, look at this I got from Comic-Con, look at this I got from Comic-Con, and I don't have that to show you because I didn't really get a lot of swaggy stuff. One of my favorite booths to stop by was the Nickelodeon booth. So the Nickelodeon booth was really big. It normally is pretty large. It's on the bigger number side, not the 100 block, but the 1000 block towards the end of it, and I think it was like, not G. Yeah, around G, I guess, around G. And the booth was huge and it was really nostalgic. They brought back a lot of old Nickelodeon shows to the booth, as to say, like, they usually decorate it with big, I guess, like installations, like, so you can take pictures with the characters that are like either a figure or a model or some kind of weird thing to take a picture with outside, or I mean on the booth. And they brought back characters like Hey Arnold, Our Real Monsters, Cat Dog, Rocco's Modern Life, and yeah, it was really cool. So seeing all the characters in person brought back a nostalgia for me. I believe they had a couple giveaways for some stuff and whatnot. I'm not really sure if they're gonna do like bring back the shows or whatnot, or gonna release a DVD set with all of that oldie but oldie 90s cartoons or whatnot. But it was really cool for someone in my age to see that, because I'm like, I remember that show, that was so cool. So the Nickelodeon booth is one of my favorites to go visit, to look at. So there was a lot of cool things to look at. Also, one of my favorite booths I've been doing for a couple years now is the Sanrio booth. Sanrio booth is also fairly close to the Nickelodeon booth in the 1000 block over there by the Artist Alley, and it's super cute, always adorable. And this time they had a little area featured for Gudetama, and every time you made a purchase of X amount, you got extra freebies and whatnot. And I always love seeing the Sanrio girls. They are super cute, and as usual you get to collect the patches for them. Usually it's collector stuff. This year was the patches, so I didn't get all the days, but I got quite a few, so that was super cute. Oh, I guess that is a swag thing, huh? But I put it somewhere else. I don't know where they are, but I think I got the Choco Cat one and Kuroki, and that was really cool. So Sanrio booth is always cool. Also on Thursday I got a chance to really scope out the DC booth, and they were promoting obviously Suicide Squad, which the movie hadn't come out quite yet. Now I believe it's out. And yeah, and they had a bunch of like backgrounds to take pictures of, and they paid cosplayers to come and take pictures of them to promote the movie. And also, they were celebrating the anniversary of Wonder Woman, so all the cool things in the middle of the booth, aside from the separate stages they have for signings and whatnot, they had a display in the middle of the costumes of Wonder Woman. So they had some of the original designs from the comics, from renders, storyboards of what the costumes would look like and her fashion then to now. So it's kind of cool seeing the progression of Wonder Woman, and some of the costumes they brought were pretty cool. So I appreciate that. I'm a Wonder Woman fan, so that was cool. Also, another thing I got to do on Thursday night was check out the Star Wars booth, and it was one of the biggest booths there. And this year I could be completely wrong, but it was one of the biggest booths at Comic-Con. They had a whole expo on the inside of their booth of costumes for the new movie Rogue One, and released some character designs that we haven't seen before through the trailer, so that was really cool. They also had their own fashion collection through Loungefly and her universe that came out for Star Wars collectibles, and they had, of course, their own stuff they had promoting for just exclusively them, wallets and purses and bags and socks and all that stuff, so that was really cool. They also had games to sell. Oh my gosh, so the expo on the inside, which was their own little fort, and then all on the outside they had different booths and whatnot too. I can't even count, maybe 9, 10 booths on the outside that had separate stuff they sold that each had their own little thing going on, and that was really cool as well. Also they had just great people running the booth, so everyone there was super excited for the new Star Wars, so that was awesome. I also got a chance to go to the Viz Media booth, and the Viz Media booth was also having an anniversary this year. It was their 30th anniversary, and this cool wall of all the artists they've done comics with. One of my favorites is Matsuri Haino, which is the creator of Empire Knight and Metaputty, and they had a Rama 1/2 artist up there, so they all did like collector art for the anniversary, so that was really, really cool. And they also made these cool display boxes, like shadow boxes of each comics through the ages, so you got to see the growth of that business and Viz Media as a whole, so that was really neat. And they always have exclusives there, and of course I missed out on the Sailor Moon exclusives. I know, that was bad. This is my remember to talk about page. So I missed out on that, but that was still cool to see all the cool exclusive art they did for the anniversary. I also had the most wonderful opportunity to meet one of my favorite artists, Natasha Allegri, the creator of Fiona and Cake from Adventure Time and Bee and Puppy Cat. So that was really cool. She is like, she's like the dream, you know? That's not weird to say, like, I'm a comic artist and artsy person too, and she started off like me, being a fan and drawing, and she got noticed, and suddenly now she has her own stuff, and that'd be really cool. I hope that happens to me someday. So, I somehow, I mean, Viz is cool, and they've been trying to do the whole, you know, stay okay with the fire hazard guidelines and not letting their booth get hoarded and create a huge line and fire hazard, but so the signing was supposed to happen, I believe, at 4, and people kept coming at 3:30, 3:45, and they're like, we're not lining up anymore yet. And I think they did that on purpose just because they didn't want to be in trouble. But so people were starting to create their own line, and I was standing there for probably an hour and a half trying to figure out where this line was going to be. And thankfully, not on purpose, I swear, I was standing there taking pictures because I was Usagi again that day with some kids, and one in particular, I really liked my costume with her mother, and they were super cute, and we took a picture together. I asked her if she's a huge fan of Sailor Moon. She said yes, and I was like, cool. And then she went to go do her own thing with her mom, and I continued trying to figure out where this line was gonna start. And this Ms. Media guy, he recognized me, keep coming back to the booth by now, and he was like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out where the signing is for Natasha Allegri. And he's like, oh, okay, well, as soon as I know, I'll let you know. I'm like, cool. So I was standing there, and the next thing I know, he grabbed my shoulders and scooted me over, and he was like, you stand here. I'm like, okay. And then they brought the poles out, and I heard the guy say, everyone stand behind Sailor Moon. I'm like, oh, when did that happen? So that was cool, and I ended up being the front of the line, so I definitely did get a chance to meet Natasha Allegri, and she had her cookbook that came out for the booth, and honestly it was a really great price, but this year I wasn't rolling in the dough, so I couldn't really afford to buy it, but they luckily had these exclusive posters that came with meeting her and getting her signing and whatnot. So if you didn't have the book, you could get a cool poster from the book. So that was cool, and when I met her, she was very, very shy, but that's okay. I mean, her artwork speaks alone, and I really love her personality. Her social media is pretty hilarious, and she's pretty cool. So it was nice to finally meet her. It was kind of, you know, starstruck in a way, I guess. But she asked me, she's like, do you want me to draw you something? I'm like, you draw whatever you want to draw. The next thing I know, she was doodling me as Usagi, so that's super cute. I already framed the artwork. I will get that so I can show you. So here is the artwork, and it's two-sided. And on my side job, I work at an art and framing store, and luckily, you know, finding out about you know, working at that business for framing, you don't realize what is a standard size or what's weird sizing when you're getting stuff printed as an artist. And I realized getting all these cool posters from Comic-Con, they don't have any idea what is a normal size. So this print is actually 8.5 by 11, which is technically not normal size frame. 8 by 10 and 11 by 14 is, but 8.5 by 11 is standard paper size, just not a standard print size to get things framed. So there is some frames out there, but they're not as cool looking, and I really like this frame. So yeah, I used matting for it, and we did acrylic on both sides so you can see on both sides, so I can still see the cute little recipe in the back. Oh, that's a lot of glare, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so super cute, and oh, here's my drawing. Wait. There's me! Super cute! It actually looks a lot like me as Sailor Moon, and I really love her style, so that was a lot of cool, and sure enough, right when I got in line, I saw that one little girl I was referring to before, and I said, "Hi, are you gonna go in line and meet Natasha Allegri?" And she's like, "Oh no, that's my sister." And I was like, what? So, yeah, I met Natasha Allegri's sister and mother, so that was really cute. She said she really liked my costume. I asked her if she was going to the Sailor Moon panel on Sunday, and she's like, no, I didn't know about it. And I asked her if she was going to be an artist. She's like, oh, I'm an artist. And I'm like, awesome. So she was really cute and sassy, and I loved it. It was super cute. Her mom was very, very sweet too. And I'm like, you must be very proud of Natasha. And they're like, yes. And I'm like, totally, so cool. So family love, yay. Okay, so later that day, I had went to the Her Universe fashion show. And I believe this is the 3rd year. Every time I even showed interest in it, I either couldn't go, something else was scheduled, or something happened. Something just happened every time. This is the 3rd year, and I really didn't know much about it. I knew that Her Universe had a contract with Hot Topic, and that somehow it had to do with Comic-Con, but I really didn't know what it was about. And right now I'm still 100% sure what it's about. So this is what I understand what Her Universe is. It is a nerd-inspired fashion show where people create looks inspired by comics, movies, illustrations, anything nerd culture-wise, and make it fashionable. And I believe the winners get contracts with Hot Topic to sell stuff streamline, as well as other opportunities. During the fashion show, they had shown the last winner, who is very successful. She works for McCall's pattern company and makes patterns for a living. I believe she does other stuff too, but that's really cool. She got this opportunity by being in this show last year and year 2. Year 3 this year, I really wanted to go with friends, and every time I asked someone, something didn't happen, or family couldn't go, or whatever it was, even though they had a badge or didn't have a badge, whatever it may be. So I ended up going by myself. I didn't get a really good view, but I'm glad I got as close as I did to seeing all the costumes. From what I understand from the fashion show, there was a judges winner, and then there's a crowd winner, so crowd gets a vote on a winner, and then there's a web winner. So obviously the judges' choice, and then the audience choice won, and the third one won a week and a half or 2 weeks later after Comic-Con, so people can go online and vote. And there was, I believe, and I could be wrong, 26 entries. So each look was different based off of a game or a movie or an anime or cartoon, and that was really cool. And the people who did win, yeah, I could totally see why. The audience's choice, I did vote for her. That was the Marauders map one. Absolutely stunning. Yes. And what was the other thing that was really cool? Oh, so in the waiting time when the judges were making their choice on their choice, they had the runway open. Whoever wanted to rock the runway, so there was some really cute child cosplayers that were practicing the runway, so that was super cute. No, I didn't run the runway, although I should have. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to watch everyone, breathe in the experience, And one of my favorites is before they started the fashion show for the contestants, they had a fashion show for the most current or upcoming looks for Hot Topic. So one of my friends, Stephanie Yanez, got to be in the fashion show for the Star Trek line. So that was also really cool. I didn't realize how much work was involved behind those nerd-inspired looks. I mean, I can tell that they were well thought of, and I have some pieces of my own, but I guess I didn't know, so now it's cool to know. That was pretty neat. So the fashion show was absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite things about the fashion show is the exposure, getting your chance to put your stuff out there. And I'm not sure, but I think one day I would like to enter. I don't know, I think I'd have a shot, and I think I'm a pretty cool creator, so I'm gonna give it a shot some year, so keep an eye out for me one year for Her Universe fashion show. So that was really cool. Also later that night, the Adult Swim experience outside closed down the whole games and whatnot, and you got to sit out on the lawn, and they're bringing back Toonami to TV. So Tom, and I can't remember the girl robot character who was kind of like the commentary between like Yu Yu Hakusho and Tenchi Muyo and Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z on Cartoon Network. That show's coming back from the 90s, and they brought back all the voice actors, so Tom and the girl announcer. But yeah, they were talking about how they were excited, and happy that all the fans are coming back for something, you know, they all loved for the fandom. So that was really cool. They told us some sneak peeks. Yeah, and they came and they did like a mini panel TV setup, so you got to see some sneak peeks of what things are going to look like, and all the cast, the creator and the cast, obviously Tom and the robot girl, they put them in costumes, so that was pretty cool. That was so nerdy, I liked it, and they gave away free stuff, so that was cool too. So Friday I was Apple from Turbo Kid, which is an 80s post-apocalypse movie that was released on Netflix. I believe it was originally filmed in Canada. I can be completely wrong about that because my brain is very mushy right now because of the heat. But yes, I cosplayed Apple, and I really like the character. I used my hair with some extra hair extensions so it's more fluffy, longer length and whatnot. And I made the costume as well. So Apple that day, no one really knew who I was. And another thing that I was kind of upset about is I worked really hard on my gnome stick, and I know Comic-Con was being very careful because there's some weirdos out there, but they took away my gnome stick. So no one knew who I was. I just looked like a girl who was obsessed with the 80s. I guess that's not a bad thing, but I worked really hard on that costume, and I didn't have a Turbo Kid, so I was by myself. Again, both family members and my husband was working or couldn't go, and friends, so oh boy, another day of running around. So I did a lot of panels that day. I saw like the iZombie panel, the 100 panel, Bones panel, and Entertainment Weekly panel, which featured a lot of very pretty men in TV today. So those panels were pretty funny. That was in Ballroom 20. It was very air conditioned. It was nice. And it wasn't too busy, so that was pretty cool. I did get a chance to meet up with my mom and my sister that day, so that was kind of neat watching the panels with them. And then I got to wander around some more that day. So I finally got a chance to visit the Oni Press booth, which I was also excited about because I got to visit my friend Jay Fish last year at Comic-Con. I wasn't sure if it was going to be here this year or any artists I really liked coming to that booth and doing some signings or whatnot, but sadly when I went there was none, so that was poo-poo. And their booth seemed a lot smaller this year. They didn't have a lot going on in my opinion, so I did stop by and check out some stuff, but I didn't buy anything. But Oni Press is always fun to visit. Another big booth at Comic-Con, this was also Friday, I went to the Hasbro booth, which was ginormous, right by the Star Wars booth. So they had a lot of My Little Pony things, Star Wars toys, Transformers toys, they had a lot going on. Yeah, it was just really fun and exciting the way they designed it, and the display boxes so you can see the new figures coming out and whatnot, and everyone there was very knowledgeable about products, so that was cool. And they didn't have any freebies though, but still cool to check out. Also seeing all the figures running around Comic-Con, like the new Kingdom Hearts figures that are coming out, Sephiroth, Transformers, Gundam, so much. So that was fun seeing all the figures. Then after a long day of running around, I had the pleasure of getting tickets to the Legend of Zelda Orchestra that was also held in downtown. I can't remember the name of the location right now, but it was quite a walk. It was 10 blocks away, and we walked from the convention center to the orchestra, where we met up my husband's dad and stepmom, who got us tickets for our birthday. The hall was gorgeous, and the orchestra was perfect, and the music sounded beautiful. They also had a couple big screens hanging up on the walls where you got to see the clips of the specific scenes from each song from the different Legend of Zelda games. So that was really cool. It was just a magical experience. You know, Legend of Zelda is not exactly my favorite game in the world. Not that I hate Legend of Zelda, I just never really played the game, so I haven't fallen in love with it. But the music for it is absolutely mind-blowing, and the orchestra they got to play, very, very good. So that was a very neat experience, and I'm glad I got to go. Saturday, I got a chance to meet the Bluefin booth, which also had beautiful figures. got to walk to the other side and watch some of the gaming booths set up, and you get a chance to play. I love Splatoon, but you got to see Splatoon, Castle Crashers, a couple other games, and some new games that are coming out, so that was pretty cool. And the Bluefin booth, again, I kind of walked by it every chance I got because the figures were absolutely gorgeous. And the thing I like about Bluefin is, yes, they're expensive for action figures or toys in like people's eyes, but they're really well made, and they're like a lifetime experience. So that was cool to check out that booth. Saturday is also the biggest day to check out some cosplayers. Unfortunately this year I didn't see a ton of cosplayers. Most of them were outside than they were inside, and honestly any time outside was like a commitment to even step outside because it was so hot during Comic-Con this year. It was like instant regret when you go outside. Not that the inside was 100% better because there's so many people, they were breathing up all the air conditioning. But yeah, so I got to see some decent cosplayers this year. That day, on Saturday, I was Akko from Little Witch Academia. And yeah, I also got to finally go outside to the Adult Swim experience. Outside, they have the games and the Meatwad Dome. I did get a chance to go to Meatwad Dome this year, which was really cool. Check it out. I sucked at recording today. Right now, I'm outside of the Adult Swim booth, and I'm out here with my sister, Antonia. First time we actually look related with brown hair today, because that hasn't happened in a long time. Oh yay, my other friends, yay! And yeah, we're at the Adult Swim finally seeing the stuff outside. Unfortunately, either people couldn't go this year with our friends, or yeah, timing just didn't work out with jobs and stuff, so we're just out here, yay! Okay.
If there's motion sickness, then you might have one, or experience that. If you start feeling sick,
and then I checked out some of the games, although every game I tried to play was really busy. So I think we played just one. It was like, it's the bird one where you throw it at the wall and the weird person was on the ground. I don't know. If you went, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was so busy and hot outside that it really wasn't worth it. And one of the funnest things to get is a free t-shirt, and they were closed most of the time for how many people wanted to get it. So missed that experience, and honestly I wasn't gonna do heat stroke just to get a free shirt. So we left pretty early off after that, I mean the experience, because Adult Swim usually spend a couple hours out there playing games and whatnot, but it just, and the heat and everything, it really wasn't worth our health to stand outside. I felt, my husband and I and my sister felt really parched, so that was very that was a long experience just to even go outside for an hour that we were out there, because it was an adventure even going out there. Also, this time around, there wasn't a lot of outside events. Last year they had the American Horror Story thing outside, and the hotel where you go up the floors and you get scared to death and whatnot. This year they had that show that looks like He-Man. Oh gosh, it's totally escaping me. It looks hilarious, but the experience outside seemed really boring. There wasn't a lot of outside things to do, and honestly, like the year before, I think they had the Assassin's Creed thing where it was the Leap of Faith that we did last year. That wasn't there. They did have the sci-fi thing outside, but I just, every chance I went outside, it was bad, so didn't get to do that. Sunday was a very short day for me. I was Princess Serenity from the manga version. That day, the one panel I really wanted to do was a Sailor Moon panel, and it was actually at the convention center. So I literally sat through 2 panels just to be in that panel, so I didn't want to miss it. So I was right there in the front. I got lucky. The panel was really cool to sit through. I can't remember the name of the person who runs the panel, but she's she's the marketing director, I believe, for Viz, and she's a huge Sailor Moon fan and a cosplayer, and she's very pretty. You can tell she's very passionate about the series, so it was fun listening to her talk about it, and she made like a very special PowerPoint to make everyone in the audience feel very special and excited for the new things coming for Sailor Moon.
I'm no match for it. What is this dream trying to tell me? Gotta go. See ya. Okay. I can see this vision very clearly, just like you can.
There are 3 humans who possess pure heart crystals.
And got some free posters. That was cool. It was really awesome meeting more Sailor Moon cosplayers. I also got invited to the Sailor Moon gathering that I did at the end part of the day. So Sunday was the last day for me to run around, get sales and whatnot. One of the things I got at Comic-Con was the first issue of Snot Girl. They have a variant cover, but I really like this one. It's like a joint project between Brian Lee O'Malley and Leslie Hung. So Brian Lee O'Malley, I'm sure you recognize the name. He's the creator of Scott Pilgrim. So I really like this comic. It's the first issue, and the variant cover is drawn by Brian Lee O'Malley. The art inside is Leslie Hung. I believe they worked together on the plot and the storyline, but I can't wait for the next one to come out. So I got this one at Comic-Con, and that was really cool. Can't wait for the next one. I also got Luna. So I really like this Luna doll for the 50th anniversary. The one thing I don't like about it is her eyes are slightly orange, and she doesn't have red eyes, so I'm not really sure why they did that, but I really like the color, the pink, and the way she's made, so got that. And I also got the transformation pen keychain. This was super cute. Most of the time when I see these at anime conventions, they're like $15, and this one was $8, so I was like, okay, this is the time. This is the time to get this. And I will be doing a Sailor Moon Magical Moon series tutorial on an actual pen of this, so stay tuned for that. It's coming soon. I met up with family, so we hung out in between panels and their panels and me running around and Sailor Moon thing. And sometimes it's a short day, so really you have to like compact everything you wanted to do on that last day and haggle. So yeah, so I got a chance to see my family, catch up, see what their favorite things they did, and my husband as well, in between him working in the morning at his normal job, coming to Comic-Con and selling at the booth and hanging out with me. So that was kind of running around a lot. So okay, so regrets. Overall, like, I had a really good time, obviously, but I'm sad that I didn't go outside to the Nintendo Lounge. I've been going there since forever, so it was weird not to go this time. But honestly, going outside was such a hassle. It's so hot. So I didn't go to Petco Park for the same reason. I also didn't hear a lot that I missed out on, so I don't really know even what they had at Petco Park. Also, there is a small parking lot by the bridge to get over to the convention center at the end of the trolley stop. And this time around, there wasn't like stuff outside to go visit. There was just food trucks, so that was kind of boo-boo. So that was my Comic-Con experience. I hope next year is even funner than this year. Between this year and last year, since last year is the only time you've seen a video of me talking about San Diego Comic-Con, I liked last year better because I got to do a lot more, and I got to see a lot more people, a lot more hugs, a lot more pictures. Yeah. So last year was better. But let's talk about costumes. So Usagi Tsukino, which I wore on preview night Wednesday and Thursday, day one. That costume's super comfortable. I built it to be actual fabric you would buy if you were wearing a school uniform, so it's super comfy. Obviously, wearing a big wig is always a pain in the rear with long hair, but I love wearing that costume, and it's so breezy and comfortable. I made that costume earlier this year for Hondoki Con, and yeah, so far the response I've been getting from people, everyone's been liking it. One day I want to work on my own resin casted or built brooch myself. The one I have on, I did make, it's just not the most durable, I guess. So I would like to do a better one in the future. Hopefully they'll be part of the Magical Moon series as well. And then on was it Friday? I was Apple from Turbo Kid. That costume was also a lot of fun, mostly because I got to use my own hair, so my head and my bangs, and got a little bit of a breather. I wasn't feeling like I was suffocating. You know, pain is beauty or beauty is pain when it comes to cosplay. I'm sure other cosplayers know this experience. But I really liked that movie, so whenever someone asked what I was really excited to tell people about the movie. And that costume, I didn't realize how like easy and complex it was at the same time. Sure, it was the 80s and it seems easy, but at the same time, it's a jumper. And jumpers are coming back into fashion, but they're not like cheap because they're really expensive. So I had to make my own jumper, and I really wanted it to be durable and you know, wear and tear, you know, so I decided to go to the thrift store and find a jean top and a jean bottom and dye them to match, and then sew them together. So that was pretty cool. And I also made the weird, it almost looks like bondage strap things she wears on the top of it. So I wore those, the patch with the heart rainbow, and the gnome stick obviously, and the necklace I made as well. I also made what am I talking about? Oh, the keychain. I also made a keychain she was wearing, and yeah, so, and the shoes I already had and socks I already had, so literally it was meant to be. So that was a lot of fun. Wearing that costume was really cool. The only thing I regret about that costume is I wish I had the trippy looking contacts. But yeah, I'm also really blind, so I wear contacts, and finding a prescription one that has that strong of eye color like from the movie is kind of difficult, and honestly to get it in time for Comic-Con would have been a pain in the rear. I didn't even think about it until the last minute. So another time, Saturday, I got to be Akko from Little Witch Academia, which is a really wonderful animation series. They have a first short movie and a second one that came out, and they also have a comic now, and they just got they just said online, I believe that they're doing an anime series because it's been doing so well. For those of you who don't know, it ended up being like a college project for a bunch of students, and it was supposed to be like a movie short, and they had such a positive response from fans online that they did a second movie, and now a comic, and now soon to be an anime because it's that good. I believe some of the artists are from Studio Trigger. That's why it looks familiar to some other anime you've seen out there. Can't rename the current one that they're most recognized for. But yes, so Little Witch Academia is super cute. I also had the chance to go to Anime Expo last year, where they had a drawing gallery where you got to see some of the stills from the movie, some angles that you wouldn't have saw in film. So I got to take some pictures of that. I'll put it right here. And I also got to see like a mock-up of some creators making their version of the costume in real life. So I got to see their version of what they would do, and yeah, so I had like kind of a special experience with that too. I also have an exclusive poster from that whole thing at AX too, which is a lot of awesomeness. The most struggling part about that costume was probably the boots, because they're pointy and people step on you at Comic-Con. So those boots probably need a little love after the convention. I'll have to check them out and see how they survived. I did make the hat, I did make the costume, I did make the boots, I did make all the accessories, and it was kind of nostalgia to wear a brown wig. I literally had to buy a brown wig. I had brown hair my entire life, and a little over a year ago is when I first time I had pink hair. So all my cosplays before with brown hair was my own hair, so that was so weird buying a normal wig to be a character. On Sunday, I was Princess Serenity from the manga is what I inspired it from. There's so many different variations now between the anime, the manga, and Crystal, but specifically mine is from the manga. Yes, I love my costume because it has fabric from my actual wedding dress that I made for Princess Serenity. My costume is mostly hand sewed and, like I said, repurposed fabric from my wedding dress, so it's really special to me. It's almost like my second wedding dress. Then people go, why didn't you just do that for your wedding? But I wanted to be me and Sailor Moon at the same time, so it has elements to my wedding dress. My original wedding dress that I wore to get married does have Sailor Moon things, just not 100% Princess Serenity wedding dress. I wore this dress last year at Hanadoki and won second place at the Masquerade, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, so I haven't got a chance to wear the dress too much since then, only because it's all white, and most of the time you get trampled at conventions, so I'm very careful about where I wear it. But that day was so worth it because at the end of the day I did cosplay gathering with a bunch of other Sailor Moon cosplayers. They're all super sweet and they're a lot of fun. And yeah, so that was my Comic-Con experience. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll put a clip here from my last San Diego Comic-Con convention video so you can check that out. And thanks for watching. Have a magical day. Bye!